thanks for watching the video. If you could do me and the channel a favor, hop down to the comment section and let me know what decks you guys want me to make next. And while you're down there, if you could drop a like and subscribe, it'd help out a lot. With that being said, enjoy the video and have a great day. What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we are going over a Milotic and, how do you pronounce this? Farigiraf EX deck. So it is a control, well, it's more of a wall deck than a control deck. And so you're playing these different Pokemon that can't be attacked by certain other types of Pokemon or kinds of Pokemon. And that's pretty much how it works. You just wall off your opponent and just chip them away until you've taken your 6 prize cards. Or it might be in the case that you set up a wall and you just wait for them to deck out. More times than not, you are going to be on the offensive, though, with this deck. Well, I shouldn't say the offensive. You're going to be attacking with this deck. But it just gives you basically figure out what deck you're playing against, you find your matchup, and then you find which Pokemon of your 4 choices will best suit the needs. Or you might have multiple and have to switch between them depending on what your opponent is doing. This is the same as a deck list I found on some of the city leagues by a player named Damana, but the only difference is I took out one of the Crispin, there were 3, and replaced it with 1 extra Mimikyu, because after a couple of playtests, my Mimikyus kept on getting like Monkey Doried or Radiant Greninja'd away, and they would have been able to stop everything else in the opponent's deck except for those few cards, so I just did put that 1 more in there, just to give us a little more options. Now, let's just get going. We do have a 3-3 line of this Milotic EX. For the Feebas, I do like this one because, also, this deck is 2025 legal. There are no F-mark cards in here. And I prefer this Feebas because it has Leap Out. So for 1 colorless, you can switch it with one of your benched. And it's basically like a free switch for if you're going second, which this deck will prefer to do. You want to go second here. So yeah, the Leap Out Feebas from Surging Sparks. Into our Milotic EX, 270 HP, it is water type. In here for its Sparkling Scales ability as well as Hypno Splash will be used. Sparkling Scales makes it so it can't take damage from Terra Pokemon. So really nice in here. A lot of decks now are playing Terra Pokemon. I'd say a majority of them, if not all, do have some kind of Terra aspect to them. And that will probably only reign true as we get closer to rotation here. More decks will be playing Terra Pokemon. So this walls off all Terras. This is any stage, whatever. So like Charizard, Cerulege, none of that can hit Milotic. And then Hypno Splash for 1 water and 2 colorless, deals 160 and makes your opponent's active asleep. So that might actually come into factor too. More times than not, though, we're just setting up this wall and doing 160 and not expecting anything from the sleep. We do have a 2-2 line of Girafarig. And yeah, I'm gonna stop trying to pronounce them. We play one of the 100 HP with dual headbutt for 1 colorless, deals 30 damage, and then 10 to one of your benched Pokemon. Just a little bit of a chip damage kind of option, basically, as well as having 100 health. And then we have one of the 90 HP ones from Temporal Forces, that for 1 Psychic and 1 colorless, Psychic Assault, it deals 20 damage, and then 10 more for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So these are kind of in here for like if our opponent is also playing some kind of wall deck. And then obviously Mimikyu can work the same. So just a little bit more options. And then they go into this Pokemon, 260 HP. It is a Terra typing. And it has the ability Armor Tail, which prevents all damage from basic Pokemon EX. So it's kind of like, I mean, Mimikyu takes nothing from any EX or V. Milotic takes none from Terra Pokemon. So this one isn't really the most game-changing, just because those grounds are covered by Mimikyu and Milotic, but it gives you another option as well as lets you use Dirty Beam, which for 1 Psychic and 2 colorless deals 160 damage and 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So a little bit stronger of an attack than Milotic's here. Probably the best attack that we have in this deck. So a little bit more of an offensive option, and you're only going to see this Pokemon come into play when it's a very specific matchup that our opponent is playing a bunch of basic Pokemon EX, like Raging Bolt matchups and stuff like that. And then we have 2 copies of Cornerstone Ogerpon, 210 health, Terra typing. Cornerstone stance makes it so it can't take damage from Pokemon with an ability. And then Demolish for 1 fighting and 2 colorless, deals 140, and is not affected by weakness, resistance, or effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then we got 2 copies of Mimikyu, 70 HP, safeguard, so it's prevented from EX and B, and then put 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for 1 psychic and 1 color. So that's it for Pokemon. So we're going to move on to trainers here. The trainers are pretty straightforward. We got 4 Arvens looking for items and tools, 3 Ionos, great hand reset, as well as hand disruption. Hand disruption is really nice in these control decks. 2 copies of Crispin, because we are playing a few different energy types here, we are able to use Crispin to make sure we can get our attacks going right away, because this is a wall deck and not a stall deck, so using that Crispin to get attacking. 3 copies of Boss's Orders. This is either to target things that could be a threat to our Pokemon in future turns, or to stall our opponent when we need to buy a couple of turns. 2 copies of Professor's Research, just a great hand reset. You know, dump our hand, draw 7 new cards. If we got a bunch of stuff that's not going to help us, we can use this here. 2 copies of Penny. So if you are forced to start, say, a Cornerstone, and you recognize that your opponent, say, is playing Raging Bolt, you don't want those 2 prizes lying around, so you're going to be able to Penny that up. And that's just an example of why Penny's in here. 4 copies of Pokégear 3.0. This is to make sure we can find primarily our bosses and our pennies when we are looking for them. But we can find any of our supporters, obviously. 4 copies of Nest Ball to find whatever Pokemon we need. Depending on our matchup, we can pick and choose. 1 copy of Ultra Ball. We do only play the 1 copy, despite playing 2 different Evo lines. This is because we have the TM Evo in here, as well as we might never play those Pokemon in certain matchups. So just the 1 Ultra Ball in here should suffice. Where were we? 1 copy Buddy-Buddy Poffin. This is because we only have 1 copy. It only grabs Feebas and Mimikyus. So again, it might not be used ever in a game, but we want it there when we do need it. So we do got the 1 copy in there. 1 copy of Earthen Vessel. Discard a card, search your deck for 2 basic energy cards. Our energy is a little sporadic, but definitely for a purpose. So just finding which energies we have to, especially if we had to use some other supporter, we couldn't Crispin this turn, we can still Earthen Vessel to find what energy we need. 1 copy of Super Rod. Say our opponent is using a lot of Dusknoir and Dusclops action to bump the Pokemon that we need out, and that's really the only thing that they can do is use those Pokemon. We can Super Rod our stuff back. Eventually, they're going to run out of ways to use that Duskull tech, so yeah, Super Rod to recycle stuff, as well as recycle energy. And then we have 2 copies of Turbo Energize, again, so we can attack right away, and 2 copies of TM Evo, so we can make sure that if we do want to go second, we can recognize, hey, this matchup, we're going to want to play our Milotics, or we're going to want to play this guy. We can just bench either these or our Feebas, and we can Evo into them right away and have those walls set up when we pass it back to our opponent. So that's what the TM Evo is there for. And then our A-Spec is going to be Hero's Cape. The Pokemon this card is attached to gets plus 100 HP. This is because when we recognize which Pokemon we need in our matchup, we're going to want to stick with that Pokemon, and we don't want them to die to things like things like Monkey Dory or things like Duskull. So we're just going to give them that 100 HP and boost it up. A lot of the times I find myself putting this on Mimikyu. I only did, I think it was 5 playtests, and 3 of them I stuck it on Mimikyu. I think I just stick to the Mimikyu because it's kind of an easy out for a lot of decks, but this deck is going to give us versatility for what our matchup is. And then 1 copy of Artazon. Make sure we get our basic Pokemon out, as well as use this as a stadium bump to get rid of our opponent's stadium. Moving on to energy, we do have 4 Mist Energy. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. So that's obviously secondary effects. An example of that would be Hypnosplash. Your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. If our opponent had a Mist Energy on, they would not be asleep. They would just take 160 damage. So things like that. Because it is effects of attacks. So unfortunately, this will not prevent us from Monkey Dory and Duskulls. We got 3 Water, 3 Fighting, and then 2 Psychic. I might go up in the Psychic just because Mimikyu and this guy use it, but more times than not, we don't use this Pokemon, I've found. He's just kind of an option. And yeah, that's where I'm sitting with that. So we could increase from 2 to 3. Maybe go down. Actually, I think I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, we're going to go down here and put 1 there. That feels a little better. So yeah, I like it. It's 3 water, 2 fighting, and 3 psychic. And that's the deck. Gonna hop into the playtest here. We might get a couple in because I have found that people concede against this deck a lot because they just don't want to try and deal with it. So we'll hop in there right now. Alright, hopping into that playtest here for our Milotic kind of stall-esque control deck, our wall deck, excuse me, not stall. Now we do want to go second here. Our opponent did win the coin flip, unfortunately. We'll see what they decide, and our opponent will go first. Okay, so we do get to go second. We do have to give up a mulligan. That does happen quite often with this deck, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. We play what? 4, 6, 8 basics, I think? No, 9 basics. So, I mean, it's a decent number, but obviously not good enough. Only 1 mulligan, didn't reveal too much. We are going to start our Cornerstone here and see what our opponent is playing. Alright, so my guess is this is going to be a Budu deck, Budu spread. So unfortunately there aren't really any walls against that. So we just have to attack. We're just going to have to deal damage this game. Yeah, okay. So it's just a typical spread deck then. I was expecting one of the new, one of those new decks. With Budu and Frostlass and Monkey Dory. Yep, it is going to be playing the Monkey Dory because we see the dark there. Yep, there's the monkey. So, hopefully, we should just be able... I don't even know how to approach this matchup, really. Because none of our stuff kind of works against it. What do we even want? Everything is going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Everything with an ability. Is this just going to be a Girafarig game? It might be. Oh, we don't have 1 to 10. Oh, we're going to be able to Crispin. Okay. Deals 20 plus 10. This deals 30. Yeah. I think we'll just go... I want to go into this Cornerstone here, I think. Yeah. Then Crispin. Grab those 2. That in our hand. That there. We're gonna go ahead, Turbo Energize onto our Cornerstone. We're gonna hold on to Hero's Cape for now. Just grab one of those and one of those. Okay. So Mist Energy will be our friend here, because that'll shut down their Gooksy. We do get Iono'd, so we lose Hero's Cape, but I'm not too concerned about that. There's plenty of turns to go before they're dealing knockout damage, so... Alright, they do get the Budu down, so it does play Budu. And they just go for a Painful Memories. Okay. And there's our Milotic. Yeah, you're just Terra Pokemon, so... we might just attach Retreat and then Demolish. The question then is, do we want to Demolish on Monkey Dory? Do we want to take out a Snow Run? I think we're going to take out a Snow Run. Yeah. Attach here. Manual Retreat. We might be playing a little too fast, but I think we'll be fine. Hopefully I'm not getting too far ahead of myself. Alright, we do grab an energy. I'm really hoping we can get those Mist Energies down, because that 20 damage is going to start adding up pretty quickly. I think our best bet is going to be target the Snow Runs and the Frost Lasses, because it'll prevent them from dealing damage to our ability Pokemon, obviously, but then it's also going to prevent them from putting damage on their own Monkey Dory, which they can then move. So Frostlass is effectively dealing double damage because of the Monkey Dory. They are going to countercatch their stall, so we might just have to attach retreat again. Yeah. There's more damage coming in. Okay. Iono, they only have 2 cards in hand, so I don't really want to Iono. We don't have a boss, unfortunately. So we do take another 10 damage, so we're at 60. Monkey Dory puts one of them at 80. Yeah, this is why I really don't like this deck, this matchup specifically. We'll grab that to hopefully get the boss next turn. We can grab our cape. We're going to be sticking that cape on this Ogerpon, I think, because he's what we're going to be doing the majority of the work with here. And then we just have to try and get Demolish after Demolish. Just chip away at him. Do grab another Iono. Yeah, I don't really want to Iono because they only have 2 cards in hand. So now we won't be able to Pokégear because they're gonna attack with Buddy, obviously. What'd they grab? Uxie? Yeah. Unless, I don't know, they might go for the Painful Memories, in which case we will be able to get that boss, hopefully. I mean, there's 2 bosses in there, 36 cards left, so there's quite a few different things. Unfortunately, he is going to be able to grab more Snow Runs here, which I don't love. He does not grab any more Snow Runs. What do you even do? 10 damage for each damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon. Ooh, don't love that. Is it 10? Yeah. So it doubles. So yeah, he does Itchy Pollen. Yeah, this is adding up quick here. That's how the deck works. So, again, no boss and no way to get to boss. He's got no cards in hand. So I think we just go for the attack, right? I think we kind of have to. So as long as he doesn't... Now we're going to be looking for a Penny because we want to get these picked up. We don't want the damage lying around for that Azelf. So we gotta find ourselves a Penny. Now we could use any of our Pokemon to attack here. I am choosing the Cornerstones. I suppose we could go with Girafarig. That'd almost be smarter. I think that would. He'd be on a time clock though because of the Monkey Dory. You do get an energy. They did Itchy Pollen again. Do we go into Girafarig? I think we're going to want to go into the other one. So we're just going to attach to the bench here. Right, yep, we still have our Psychic lying around. And again, we're not going to Iono because we do not want to give them cards. So, just going to keep taking single prize knockouts. And there's a Mist Energy. So that'll take care of the Painful Memories. But we should be able to just outpace them here, basically. As long as they don't get some Professor's Research or something like that. They do get another Monkey Dory. That does not hurt us right now. Yep, they're targeting the one on the bench because they plan to use the Azelf to just knock that out. So a Penny would be lovely. Thankfully, they are not able to Buddy here, so I'm actually going to prefer the Penny, I think. Yeah. And there's nothing we can really do to thin. There's a Penny. So we can pick up our benched one, right? We'll technically be taking 20 damage, but then the energy will be gone. So yeah, we're going to pick up our benched one. That's going to slow our opponent down substantially. I think we put it back down as a backup. Drop that in there. And then we can just go ahead and attack. And then I think we just win because they can't really do anything else this turn. We'll see what they draw into, obviously. If they get an energy, they have knockout. And, yep, they don't have anything. Alright, so we didn't really get to use any of the stall wall. Our opponent just kind of didn't have much luck, I'll say. You know, they might be very well talented. I'm not going to shame them or anything. But that is not the kind of deck I would like to play. That's all I'm going to say. That deck has 0 draw support that I know of. I don't know. I haven't looked at all of the lists for it, but we'll just hop into another match here. Okay. So my guess is going to be Arcanine, Cerulege, or Charizard. Because of the fire coin, it's probably going to be Cerulege. Tails. Our opponent won the coin flip. And they will go first, so we do get to go second, use those TMs. And Dark Sleeve, so maybe it's Charizard. It's probably Charizard. We do both take mulligans. And just by the sleeve and the... Yep, and it's Charizard. Alright, so just by the coin and the sleeve, you know the matchup. Now, that won't hold as true in regular, you know, tabletop TCG, because they don't have these limited selections of sleeves or whatever, and you're not going to look at their coins. So you're going to have to be able to identify what they're playing when they flip over their cards. But thankfully in TCG Live, you can just make those assumptions pretty quickly. So I don't even know if they have a way to deal with Cornerstone in this deck. Depends on which deck they are playing, of course. But we might just be able to get away with Cornerstone Ogerpon here. We're going to attach. Another option, we could go into Mimikyu or Milotic as well. I kind of want to go into the Milotic, just so we can get it some time on the field. We did bench one of these, and then the other one of those. Yeah, we'll grab a Feebas. Why not? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like, why not do this? You know, I'm perfectly fine with doing it. We'll grab, not the Turbo Energize, we'll grab the, oh my goodness, the TM Evo, and then I think we're grabbing Vessel. How many Crispin have we prized? We did prize one of our Crispin. So I think we're just gonna, yeah, we'll just go for the Vessel, set up for next turn. Get the evolution down. So that's just another thing that their Charizard can't hit into, basically. This one's got some more health, and our opponent goes ahead and concedes. Because they just identify, hey, this guy's playing control right away. There's no way I'm winning. So that's kind of what I was getting at before. I was about to hop into another game, so that's why there was the abrupt ending. But I did notice that we were already at 25 minutes. So that'll be the video. That's the deck list. I mean, it's pretty solid. You have a wall for a lot of different matchups, almost anything. There are some things that can hit around, obviously, and a lot of decks can work around this, but as long as you work to avoid them working around it, you'll be just fine, and you should be able to wall off a lot of your opponent's decks. So thank you guys for watching the video, and comment down below what decks you guys want to see next. Like and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out.